the narrative is changing around Trey Lance. A couple months ago, they were saying, man, this guy might sit for 2 years. Now, according to Mike Garafolo and NFL Network, they're saying, well, he's probably going to take over the job at some point this season, and he could do it in training camp if he wows them. So I think it's time to like recalibrate the expectations for this guy, particularly knowing what a rookie mobile quarterback has done under this coach in the past. I know it seems like ancient history to some, but it was only 10 years ago that Robert Griffin III was the rookie of the year under Kyle Shanahan. So where do you think this is heading, and what do you think it's reasonable to expect from Trey Lance this year?
I definitely think that it's trending in the direction that Lance is going to take over the quarterback position sooner than later. You know, as you mentioned, the conversation right after the draft was that Lance wasn't even going to compete for the starting job. And now it's gotten to the point where Kyle Shanahan's basically come out and said it's up to Trey Lance whether or not he's competing for the job. If he comes out and plays like he's supposed to play, or we expect him to, I think he'll take it. So I think we can definitely. I think we're going to see Trey Lance sooner than later, and I think he can probably do better than what you saw from RG3 in Washington back in 2012. You know, if you want to get right into the numbers there, I think RG3 was at 3,200 yards passing,
about 800 yards rushing.
Yeah, about 4,000 total yards.
Yep, 20 passing touchdowns, 7 rushing touchdowns. I don't know how I know this off the top of my head. 5 picks, about 102 rating, and 9 wins and 15 starts. Tore his ACL in the playoffs, never was the same.
Yeah, I think the numbers for would be a little bit higher for Trey Lance. I think he's got a little bit better supporting cast around him than what RG3 had in terms of the receiving crew. If they all stay healthy, he's got a better tight end, and I think he has. I think the receivers have the ability. Pierre Garcon at that point was kind of at the top of his game, right? He had just left Indianapolis, so he was still really good. But I think you add in Deebo Samuel and Kyle Juszczyk and Brandon Ayuk, and I think that whole group ends up being better than the Redskins than Washington had at that point. So I would say he's probably going to be around 4,500 total yards of offense when you throw in, if his passing yards are probably going to be a little bit higher. I would expect him to have more than 200 yards a game. I would expect him to be around like 215, 220. Yeah. Right. And his rushing stats will probably be a little bit lower. So, but I still think he's going to be above what RG3 had there. And I think when you watch Trey Lance in college, he doesn't have a lot of interceptions, and I don't think you'll see a lot either with the way that Shanahan would probably utilize him.
That was the one thing I wanted to mention was the interceptions was impressive from Robert Griffin. The fact that he only threw 5 as a rookie. I think you could see something similar from Trey Lance, and that's all the more reason to play him. I know Jimmy Garoppolo has the results he has, but he really is careless with the ball. And it's a run-first team. So I think you could definitely see Trey Lance start 16 games, win 10, 11, 12, put up 4,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, less than 10 turnovers, and win the Rookie of the Year. I think that's not that unrealistic.
Not at all. When you look at what they did with Griffin in 2012 at the start of that year, it was all stuff that Trey Lance could walk in and do right now. Screens to both sides of the field. Every once in a while, you're throwing the ball down the field, running the option every once in a while, and then handing the ball off like crazy as well. I definitely think that he could come out right at the gate week 1 and play at a high level.
One difference between these two quarterbacks, people say, well, RG3 was more experienced. He won a Heisman. He had more. True. Trey Lance is more gifted, though. This team is better. And also, RG3 had never played under center. He was coming from a spread system, and they had to implement pretty much a pistol offense to get him functional. Trey Lance is going to be doing stuff like that, too, because you want a mobile quarterback running the read option, but he can also do all the stuff under center. I actually think he's probably more advanced than RG3 was in 2012. I
think so. I think you hit right on the head right there, but the nail on the head as far as his ability to do the play action game out from underneath center and all that kind of stuff. And I think mentally he might be ahead of it in terms of understanding the offense and the checks, and he's probably everything that we're hearing sounds like he's way ahead of schedule from where they were expecting him to be at this point.
So start to put Trey Lance on the Rookie of the Year radar. If you are a gambling man, check out the odds, because I bet it might be. I don't even know but could be low now. While the perception still exists that he's going to be the backup. I don't know why I'm telling people to gamble. I'm like the devil right now. Don't gamble.